Today, things are gauged by the amount of money that's made from a product or a so-called service. When a new movie comes out, no matter if it has any social redeeming faculties, it is judged by the amount it took in at the box office. I hear this idea all the time with people I relate to in the business world. They are so swayed by something the public jumps on, just like the Cabbage Patch doll craze, which has been over for a long time, and a lot of people have a bunch of dolls in their closet. For the most part, whatever has the least amount of value, humans will go for it right away. With the world as it is now, it would make more sense to get back to the basics and the real food in one's yard, instead of having the big swimming pool with all the fine landscapes a person will never be able to eat. But of course, humans don't seem to mind eating processed GMO, chemically produced things that really appear like food because they are so nicely wrapped as they cruise down the aisles in their supermarkets with their cell phones to their heads, taking with all the microphones and talking with all the microphones. There is a real connection for humans that is taking place right now. And who is it that will listen to their inner voice? The great gift of the real universal guides lies within a person's dream visions, and it seeps into the outer personal self and reveals itself to one as becoming more aware. As the archetypal dream demonstrates itself, a person will begin to experience new symbols to explore. The real guides are always stretching the imagination of the dreamer to where they eventually venture out beyond their self-made boundaries and begin to see the twilight of the worlds beyond. This then becomes the most exciting time for the new student as they go beyond the normal created standards set down by the authoritarians. When anyone reads my new books and begins to have real experiences with Tartars and the real guides, they'll understand the nowness of the is. The new symbols will refer to the various levels of the individual so as to enhance their whole being, which will eventually enter the human awareness and add to their own lifestyle. The idea is always to have fun with the new education that one's having, as though one is experiencing their youth again. All of us have an intuition, and it is okay to use it instead of always trying to figure out our lives and the whole of life with mental observations, literal interpretations, and emotional imaging. In reality, as beings of light, we have no age or distinction as there is here, but a great being-isness like nothing else. I have been through so much to get to this moment to share, so enjoy it and take a risk and do better for yourself. It's always important to learn to evaluate the dream visions as best one can, because sometimes a lot rides on the outcome of the interpretation. Would you like to make a comment on that? Kim?
No, yeah. Oh, yeah, there's so much about how important it is when we get to a point of all these lifetimes to make the real commitment to get some real guidance and the real education, and that sounds like it's provided by a person showing the real guides that he does the New You sessions as an effort to, I guess you'd call, better ourselves, instead of staying the same, looking for ways to not have to be in these psych realms anymore, to have the comparison of what the psych realms experiences have been to all of us in all these different lifetimes, and how this new presentation is such a gift that, like when you were first reading tonight, how important new sessions are. Dwayne was saying after years of preparation, that a person gets the gift of being granted to view from the top of the psych realms all the experiences and things in these psych realms, and that it gives us the chance to change our course instead of staying the same and being in these religions and having beliefs and hope and faith and things that just seem to bring us back over and over in these psych realms that we don't get out. We think that's what life is all about, that there's some God that we need to worship and pray and obey and the commandments that are laid down, or else we're going to suffer forever. And it's just, it is like we're in some kind of a nightmare dream here in the psych realms, that maybe we get to the point where we want to wake up from it and find out that life is wonderful instead of all kinds of violence and suffering and all these things that we see taking place, people controlling other people and making them slaves, or all the things that we see as things that we don't like to experience, that will have a comparison to how wonderful life is, not to have these authoritarians and living in these psych realms of hard lessons anymore.
Now a whole psychological framework is almost everyone is. They're coming into this world for many past lives and experiences, and bringing with them the main ideas all of us have grown accustomed to. One of the most prevalent ideas is that of family and relationships. Again, whatever a person chooses in their life and how they want to live it is up to them, as everything is okay. My point of reference here is to provide objective views so the new student can work through their own situations a lot faster and with less drama and continued issues in the same limited areas. I had parents here, and when they left this world, I allowed them the complete freedom of no emotional or mental ties from me, as I see them as unique individuals on their own journey through life. This is how life really is, but from the human mind and emotions, the strangest attachments have been formed and agreed to. I'm not saying that one should give up anything, but one's life can make more sense and there can be a much better understanding with communication and relationships when all parties involved have real guidance and a real education about the real universes and a real life that is so much better than anything created here. Most humans will rebel at what I am presenting and rebel at what I am presenting. And it's because they are still too encumbered with secondary information and lack any real education along the lines of the whole of life. Too many, this would seem like a harsh criticism, but in no way is it. Because for those who truly do understand what I'm presenting, they can see for themselves that I am only here to provide a real service. Dreams can and are classified as an intermediary product of the psychic process. It's always an interesting and fascinating projected particular, which always occurs at the threshold of what is termed as consciousness, where one is at the point of awakening and asleep. The dream vision begins to appear as a person moves into the realm of ease and gracefully allows their awareness to slip into the next vehicle and dimension for exploration. The real awareness of each person never sleeps, even though the personal self does. This is how the true reality is. Just like the sun in the sky, it is always awake and aware. We can call this transference a state of mind in the lower realms, because for the most part, one is moving their awareness from their personal senses into another vehicle, mainly that of the emotional and astral body, and sometimes the causal and mental body. It's always fun to watch ourselves go to sleep and see if we can catch that moment when the personal mind gives up and gives way to and says, let's go. There is a great difference between the real awareness and the old term of consciousness. Here again is where most people are misinformed about the various levels and dimensions of life, as the idea of consciousness is from a created position and with the gods of man and all that applies to the lower realms and those ideas and ideals dealing with spiritual things. Each one of us does create while we are in the lower realms, but these creations are not at all us. No matter how long a person holds on to the so-called beliefs and attitudes, they are merely a phenomenon that one has established for themselves while they are still unconscious to the true reality. Human history has a lot of interesting stories about dreams and their relationships with people and the events of this world. But our main concern here is for the individual and not what the masses look to or what they're deciding. One can save someone else in the true sense. It is true that we can help and assist others. But when it comes right down to it, each person has to learn to save themselves, as there is always a determining factor of what each of us chooses as our way of survival and salvation. The old idea there will be a savior to remedy what mankind has chosen all along as a fairy tale, and so are most of the pretty promises set forth by the political demonstrators, those who are hired to manage the affairs of others. There's only one main guarantee with what humans decide while they are on this planet, and that is there will always be another takeover from those who see that people can be led like sheep, and they soon forget about the past and once again fall asleep to the dastardly deeds of others. Humans are always chasing rainbows, but on the wrong levels and into the strangest dimensions. Yes, there is already something wonderful for everyone, but it must be done a step at a time and must be authentic and make real sense. The ancient doctrines that have been created on this world are not authentic. They have become marketing tactics. Nothing that is found in the ground is authentic except the dirt itself. Here again is a huge psychological drama that has been created for the viewing audiences. And just like all those people who go to the political caucuses every year to hopefully find the right candidate who will right all the wrongs almost indiscriminately, educated people keep thinking in their minds they will eventually have what they want from someone like them who does not know anything.